Welcome to alpha360 version 3. My name is Steven Sitas and this is the third video in the alpha360 system series. Today I will be presenting the replication and the mobile apps of the alpha360 system. What are alpha360 business applications? They are core business applications, ERP, sales, hospitality apps, etc., based on the alpha360 universal data models. They can be used by developers to create business apps 10 times faster. The developer gets all the code to extend or change the apps, rebrand them, and distribute compiled apps to his customers without any royalties. Currently, the alpha360 come in various WinDev, WebDev, and WinDev Mobile versions, and also as PHP designs. You can find more information and download the open source versions at our site. Please be careful to read the terms of use on our website before you download and use the open source versions. The alpha360 system supports the computerization needs of small and medium-sized businesses in many different sectors in a simple, comprehensive, and scalable way. The database model, the business processes, and the user interface can be easily extended by WX and PHP developers to cover even the most demanding industries. The system supports a large number of server and desktop operating systems, databases, and networks design. In a WinDev, WebDev, and WinDev Mobile installation, there are four basic systems. The first is a central HFSQL client-server database that can be installed on a Windows or a Linux server. You can, of course, use any database supported on PCSoft's environment and implement any type of supported cluster technology. We call this the Central alpha360e installation. Second, there is an alpha360e client that has the full functionality of the ERP and is a Windows 10 or 11 application that connects directly to the main relational database management system. But it can also work as an autonomous replicated sales app. More about this terminology we will see later in the video. This client can use the company intranet or the internet with a suitable VPN. An alpha360n sales client. This is a sales client that works on Android, iOS, or Mac devices and connects directly to the main RDBMS. Just like the alpha360e client, it can also work as an autonomous replicated sales app. The client, of course, can use the company's internet and internet with a suitable VPN. And last is a WebDev sales client named alpha360w that works on nearly every modern browser. It connects directly to the main RDBMS and it can use an internet or the internet. The alpha360 has been also heavily tested and is compatible with many remote desktop technologies, including TS+. To understand better what we call Replication 360, we will give a small paradigm. Just note that our primary goal with the Replicate 3 system is to support sales with mobile devices from mobile sellers and loaded trucks loaded with products. Here is a case paradigm. First, a company truck is loaded with products from the main warehouse at the beginning of the day and distributes them to customers all around the city, like restaurants, during the tourist season. This is where this example works better. The seller uses Replicate 360 to receive all dimension and foundation entries on his Android smartphone, and also the quantity of the products that are loaded on the truck. Special discounts for each customer are also received by the alpha360N on the smartphone. We are assuming here that the seller has Android mobile devices, and on these devices he has installed the alpha360N software. Now, just note that when we talk about dimensions in the alpha360 language, we actually mean the parameters of the system. And when we talk about foundation, we actually mean the customers, the sellers, the products, and the services. Now, after step 1, the seller visits a restaurant where the owner needs a couple of products that are already available on his truck. He unloads them from his truck, delivers them to the customer, and issues an invoice on a Bluetooth printer, say a Bixolon, and email the invoice to his customer. All this is done with a simple smartphone and a Bixolon, say, printer. If this is a new customer, and if the system setup allows it, he can first create the customer in his alpha360N installation, that is a local database, and then issue the invoice. If the products are not available, if quantities for the products suitable are not available on his truck, he can receive an order from the restaurant for later delivery. Note that during the above, the seller's smartphone is not connected to the main master database and works in autonomy mode. Step 3. When the truck returns home and the mobile is connected to the company intranet, the seller unloads the truck from the remaining products and issues an internal return shipment. He sends this return shipment to the Replicate 360 server along with any invoices he has issued. Note that he can send invoices to the Replicate 360 server from wherever internet is available. He doesn't have to get back home to start sending the data. Step 4. An employee responsible for replication checks the data in the Replicate 360 database with the use of the Replicate 360 application and receives all sales orders, sales, new customers, and return shipments from the Replicate 360 database. The business document, for security reasons, are not automatically posted in the main alpha360 database and must be posted by an employee manually. Of course, this can change in your setup code. The above can be done many times a day without affecting the integrity of the main database. Now, let's take a look at a simple workflow for the above case. First, note that the system has actually two databases. One is the main ERP database and the other one is the replication database. They can be on the same server, they can be on different servers, and they can even be of different type. Say one can be an HFSQL client server and the other one could be a MySQL database. So now, when we start the system, we first send a set or a snapshot of the parameters, the foundations, and internal shipments to the Replicate 360 server database. We use the alpha360e to do this with the help of web services. Note that there is always one and only one snapshot of the parameter and foundation data for each replication ID, and we will see this later. You can access the Replicate 360 database with the Replicate 360 app that is included in the distribution of the alpha360 system. Now, on the client, let's say we have a mobile Android smartphone. We have installed on it the alpha360N. Remember, every installation of the alpha360 system has its own replicate sec. The main installation database has a replicate sec equal to 1, and from then on the other autonomous installations have replicate sec equal to 2, 3, 4, etc. Now, let's get back to the Android mobile device and say that this one has a replicate sec equal to 2. Now, again, with the help of web services, the alpha360 installation asks and receives dimensions and foundations from the replicate server, and all dimensions and all foundations from the replicate server, and any internal shipments that may concern the warehouse of the virtual warehouse of this alpha360N installation. He doesn't care about the internal shipments to other autonomous systems. When the truck returns home after working on site, the alpha360N smartphone sends the sales, the orders, the internal return shipments to the replicate server. And for the alpha360e system asks and receives the data from the Replication 360 server. Note that there is never a direct connection between the data in the alpha360n local installations and the one that is in the main alpha360 database. Everything is done by the Replicate system. Just note that internal shipments here mean inventory movements between, say, the main warehouse and the truck, because a truck has also a virtual warehouse. Now, before going on with the introduction of the mobile apps, here are some notes about the replication system. Replication 360 is not a general replication system, not like the one that is included in all WX products and designed by PCSoft. This one has been designed for use in the sales cycle only. But a developer can use the ideas and the technology of the system to support whatever case he would like, or whatever industry he would like. For example, hospitality. And this technology is actually the one we used in the soon-to-be available hospitality mobile apps. 3. We have selected to use SOAP web services instead of REST, mainly because when we started designing the system, SOAP was more mature than REST on WX. This, of course, may change in the future, but for now it is SOAP, and you need at least WX27 to work with it. 4. Replication 360 by design can support in one database many independent alpha360 installations. That means many customers. A developer may not want to redistribute Replicate 360 to his customers and instead offer this service and the database for a fee to his customers. There is only one database to take care of, only one set of web services, only one static IP, and only one server in-house or on the cloud. By the way, the system distinguishes between different installations customers by the installation's replicate ID. alpha360n mobile sales app. This is a version 27 WinDev mobile sales application that uses the alpha360 universal data model. It supports smartphones and tablets, Android and iOS devices, and can be extended to work as a Mac Catalyst app in the following configurations. First, a client-server mobile sales app. This one is directly connected to the relational database system, to the main database system, and it is actually a full sales client for the alpha360 ERP. An autonomous mobile sales app. The data here is saved on the mobile and it works autonomous and it supports HFSQL classic databases. And third, an autonomous replicated mobile sales app where the data is saved on the mobile as an HFSQL classic database and data can be sent to the Replicate 360 server. It can also receive dimensions and inventory from the Replicator 360 server, even if we don't want it to work as a replicated system. Now, before going on and showing the mobile and the replicate live, here are a few notes about the alpha360n applications. Alpha360n is a sales-only app. It has been designed to work with smartphones and tablets, and for me it is really difficult to think that an employee could use a smartphone for general ledger entries. Second, transactions. The alpha360n client-server mode supports transactions, but any local alpha360n version does not support transactions. They are not supported on this type of devices, at least up to version 27. Third, because of differences between WinDev and WinDev Mobile, although we tried to keep everything the same in the two environments, some codings in the BPs have to be different. In some areas, we downgraded our code to fit both the environments, but in other areas, we had to go with different implementation. What is really different and dangerous in WinDev Mobile is the handling of complicated structures, array and deep assignments. And even if they seem to work on your emulation environment, they do not work on actual devices. At the end, the testing must always be done on a real device and never rest on the emulation environment on your Windows machine. You are looking for trouble. And four, although alpha360n supports both Android and iOS, we have done extensive testing mainly on the Android version. Some things, like simple Bluetooth printing, is not supported on iOS, and there are probably many issues to be discovered on these iOS devices. So, if you are going to target iOS or Catalyst, please do some extensive testing before you deliver anything to your customers. But also note that there are a lot of differences between versions of the Android OS system. Especially from version 10 and above, there are a lot of issues. Now next, we will see a small demonstration of the Android's version capabilities and the replication cycle with the help of the WXID. Please note that everything will be done on the Windows emulation environment of PCSoft's products because it is easier to show on a screen.